welcome back. I'm Kelly Bourne, and this is today's edition of Parenting A to Z, and we're talking C is for clingy. Oh my gosh, how to deal with those stage 5 clingers. We're gonna dive into why our kids are clingy, how to deal, and then some prevention tactics. C is for clingy, coming right up. Woohoo! It can be super maddening, can it not? It's like all you want to do is cook dinner or put something away or fix something or just do anything other than having someone clinging to your legs or clinging to your arms or just like wanting to be attached to like glue to you 24/7. It can be, oh my gosh, I empathize with this about 1,000,000%. I know, super scientific over here. But the thing with our clingy kids is it's totally normal behavior. Especially in that toddler, early preschooler phase where maybe they have been home with us, maybe they have been around us a lot, and suddenly either you're going back to work or there's been a change of environment, like a new sibling. That's another big trigger right there. They're feeling a little bit insecure about their attachment with you. And that's where a lot of the clingy behavior can come in. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just one of those milestones that I know can be a total stress sandwich. So the biggest thing when we're working with clingy behavior is sending the message to our kids that they can trust us and we are that secure base, but also supporting them through that limiting belief that they're only safe if mom is right with them or if dad is right with them. And just kind of expanding their horizons a little bit to see that they can have really great relationships and can have fun and have a great time and still feel safe and that they belong and are connected with other people like their teachers or their grandparents or their coaches or whoever it may be. And before I really dive into any tactics or strategies, anybody who's dealing with this, the first thing to look for is any changes. That's where you may see an uptick in clingy behavior, whether it's a move, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's bringing home a new sibling. Those can all be major triggers for clingy behavior of wanting to hold that security base tight because our kids can get nervous, right? Our kids can get a little bit unsure of these new situations. So just have an awareness of that if that's been a trigger for you. And another big thing to notice, I feel like I need to kind of put up my shield here a little bit because don't shoot the messenger, okay? But sometimes it's important to have an awareness of how we are viewing their clingy behavior because you know what? Sometimes it can feel good. Sometimes it can feel good to know that, little Susie only wants mom or little Susie only wants dad. And we're like right there on the top of the pedestal in their eyes. We're that shining star. That can feel good. And sometimes we can kind of promote that behavior because of a need that it's filling for us. So just, again, if you're dealing with that clingy behavior, look at your own perceptions of it. Is it something you're, complaining about, something you're saying you want to change, but secretly deep down, you love that they only want you to get the cups for them at breakfast? So just put that just back for safekeeping to think about for yourself if you could potentially be acting as a trigger in any way. Okay, and into the nitty-gritty of how to deal. First and foremost, above all, is staying calm. Because I know when you've got a stage 5 clinger and you've got stuff to do, it can be, I'm like, ugh, like you can feel it, right? Sometimes it's enough to make the blood boil. So do what you need to do to stay calm, whether it's taking a breath, taking a moment, because right, it's that old saying, like you got to put your own oxygen mask on first. And if you are starting to freak, heck, like good luck dealing with your clinger in a way that isn't going to upset yourself and everybody, right? So just try your best to stay calm. And it's going to look different for everybody and how to do that, but just find your own way. I know for me, taking a few deep breaths really helps, or I know I say it all the time, but getting down at my kids' level sometimes helps me get things back on an even keel. So stay calm above all else. And then it's really just a matter of listening and empathizing with your kids while at the same time reinforcing the idea that they're safe and that they're gonna be okay if they stay with grandma while you go and get groceries. And then on top of that whole idea of reassuring our kids is a way to help foster predictability and trust is just to give them a heads up as to when you will be available. So if you are trying to cook dinner, say, and you need to to get through it in order to feed the family, is just again, listening, empathizing with them, giving them another activity to do, and say, you know what, bud, I have to finish this. I really want to play with you, but give me 10 minutes, and then we'll rendezvous in the living room and play mat. Letting them know when you can hang out again, and then whether it's setting a timer or giving them some sort of signal so that they know when that time is up. Same as if you are leaving, say you're leaving them with a babysitter or grandma or whoever to go and get groceries. Listening and validating and giving those hugs and cuddles, reinforcing the idea of safety, that you know what, Grandma's gonna take really good care of you, she loves you, I'll be back in 15 minutes. Sending that idea that, okay, mom's going away, mom says I'm gonna be safe, or dad, if it's dad's joining me right now, and she's coming back for me, and we can hang out at a later time. So that's a huge thing, is letting them know when you can hang together again, because that's a big thing for our kids, because in moving forward, that's kind of how to deal in the moment, right? Listening and validating, reinforcing safety, and letting them know when you'll be back, when you can hang out with them again. But then moving forward and looking at the long-term picture is noticing, again, what these triggers are for your kids' clinginess. Is it in times of transitions? Because small kids, they can have a really hard time with transitions. So if you notice that, it's all about giving your kids a heads up, letting them know, okay, we're going to be going in 5 more minutes, or I have to cook supper in 20 minutes. Can I read you a story, or do you want to cuddle now? Because I'm going to be unavailable for a little bit. So how do you want to hang together now? That can be a huge, it's like, I always feel like a bomb technician when I do things like that, because it's the preemptive strategies I find that help the best. And then if it is things that are happening on a continuous basis, like if you're finding your clinger is always when you're trying to cook supper, or it's always when you're trying to leave the kids with the sitter, going out the door in the morning, depending on your kid's age, you can practice this. You can role play this and talk about their feelings and what they're going through. So they can pretend what it's going to be like when mom or dad is leaving to go for work. And you can practice with their play kitchen or play food or whatever, what they're going to do, what they're going to choose to do, how they're going to occupy themselves while you're cooking dinner. And of course, I know that won't work for all ages, but even like when your kids get up into like the 2.5, 3s, you can absolutely start integrating some of those preemptive strategies, practicing for what it's going to be like if you know transitions are difficult. And last and final, and this is probably actually like the grand mac daddy of what to do moving forward, is to start the process of creating some new routines where you are not involved. I know, gasp. It's hard. It's hard if you have been the primary caregiver and you have been doing all the feeding and the bathing and the dressing, and you've been doing everything. It can be really hard to start to let go of that. But in order to show our kids that there are lots of other trusting adults, or if it's the other parent in their life to help them through, that's how we can really help mitigate the clingy problem, because they can see that there's other people, other trusting adults to help them get through the day. It's tricky dealing with our clingers, because really it's just because they look to us as a really secure base, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just getting them to see that there are other people in their world that they can trust, and that they can handle it. Because when we give in to their clingy behavior time and time again, and when we're the only one ever getting the cup for them, or the only one putting the food on their plate, we are just reinforcing their stress and reinforcing their anxiety as being the only ones capable of doing that for them. So give it a go, guys. Try setting up some new routines. Try practicing the transitions, and of course, let me know how it goes. I know this can be a tough one. And of course, if you're looking for any in-depth support, or you want to join in on my office hours, you want to access our library of like 50 plus private videos and cheat sheets and worksheets I have over in our membership site, The Parenthood, join us, yo. What are you waiting for? Join us. So I hope that helps with your clingers, guys. I'll see you in the next video.